be honest. I
Exactly.
will be honest.
Yeah, you're
And
the
I
one.
honestly don't, I don't have anything negative to say. I
Fuck
don't have
off.
anything negative to say. I really don't. I really don't. The only thing I can say negative is that I wish that I could have just me and you.
Yeah. What was your situation before you joined, and what were you hoping would change?
My situation before I mean, listen, it's not like I was unhappy. I hadn't hit rock bottom or anything like that. I was just not, I was kind of plateaued, right? I mean, the big change for me was starting my own firm, leaving. I mean, it's extremely toxic environment, the law firms, New York City, just getting fucking destroyed for 15 years, getting killed. And just getting out of that, starting my own firm, moving out of the city, having a fam, all that happened kind of at the same time. That was the crazy shift in my life. But then I got to the point where, okay, now I've done that. Like and I'm just getting started, right? I just started a firm. I haven't done anything yet, right? And I was having trouble now. It was clear, the vision was clear before, but then having kids and having a firm, and now it's like, how are you going to, what are you going to do next? Like this isn't enough, obviously. And I could feel that and I think the thing that really hit home with me at the beginning was the self-trust thing, right? Is just breaking all these little promises to yourself in other areas. I mean, and I'm obviously more disciplined in work, and as you say correctly, it's because there was urgency, right? But even there, I'm realizing I could be much better, much, 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 much more disciplined, and it could have dramatically better results, and it already has. So yeah, so just to answer your question, I was at a place where I think I was sort of not knowing what the next step is. I was doing fine, puttering along, and I would have continued on. I'm sure we would have done fine, but I would not. This has made me skyrocket, right? And I just didn't know, and I wrote this in one of the first things I wrote, or one of the in the chat when I think we were asking for comments or
Yeah.
whatever. You really don't know what you don't know. And you don't, when sometimes you don't know how you can really put, gasoline on the flame and make it go crazy. So that's really where I was. I wasn't like in this super dark place, but I was in a place where I was just like, okay, I guess this is it. I'm just like this and I'm just going to do this forever. And it was kind of depressing a little bit. And it was manifesting in weird ways, right? I don't know. Nothing like crazy dark, but I was just like, uh, you know, physically, I'm always having excuses for not working out or not exercising, and listen, kids make it dramatically more difficult. I mean, I was okay at doing, but I was also bullshitting myself, right? Because before I had kids, I still was just as inconsistent with working out and having the habits. It's the same shit, and I think it's just, and
Empathy.
I can ramble on forever if you want, but I can tell you, I think what this has given me more than anything else is the framework. I have the tools
Mm.
now, right? I know what is going on and I know how to fix it. And I know because obviously life is life and things are going to happen and it's going to be up and down and I'm going to have to always come back to center myself. And I think that is what you offered. It's really fucking powerful is a frame with the principles, the values, the habits. You establish those, and then I find myself just watching the emotions go by, just go right through, and I try to stick there to the principles, and that's fucking crazy. It's fantastic, and having this, knowing that I can't make decisions in the moment. Sometimes I need to plan everything. Everything needs to be intentional and then it'll be good. But if for example, if I wake up in the morning, this happens every fucking morning. I wake up and I'm like, "Oh, I really should sleep in today. I need the rest." And it's all and I realize that my brain is really fucking smart. It doesn't tell me, "Let's sleep in." It says, "You really need the rest today because your body needs to heal so you can get stronger." It's like it's shit like that.
It's a lawyer.
Um, it's very convincing, and I know that about myself is that I like to sneak up on myself with these little things, and I like to erode
Mm.
that's my self-sabotaging thing is I have a principle, I have something I'm doing, and I slowly erode it away until it's gone. That is what I do, and I don't even notice.
No.
So, anyways, I just went off
Yeah.
on a tangent. I hope I answered your question,
Oh, that's
but
great. That's great. That was amazing. And thank you. And which part of the program has been most useful for you so far and why?
I think it has to be the beginning of the program because that is when you go like this. But I think right now the beginning is done, right? I needed to prove to myself, I need to understand what I was doing, understand my own thought processes, understand the principles, the systems, the foundation needed to be there. And now it's there. I feel like it's there at least. And the self-trust is there. Like even though I couldn't work out for, and the reason I did the 66 days straight was partially fear, but partially was if I can do it 66 days, then I prove to myself that I'm not breaking this promise to myself, right? That I can do this and so I did it, but then having the flu and not being able to do it for 10, 15 days kind of fucked me up a little bit, but at the same time, I didn't doubt that I was going to get back to it. I wasn't like, oh, now I'm going to go back to normal. I felt confident that it would be fine. It's all going to be fine. It didn't create anxiety in me. So I think that was huge. But the thing that I'm working on now, obviously, is the constant daily self-image,
Yeah, yes.
right? Is reconstructing the self-image, which I find is just like whack-a-mole. It's like one day it's something, another day it's something else, and it's there's just a lot to unpack, and it's gonna take me time to get that all in order. But I think just the habit, the structure and the habit that we have is fucking powerful, man.
Yeah.
And I really have to give you kudos on as someone who went to law school, right, and has a student, and I've gone to way too much fucking school the way that you structured the books is brilliant. I mean, it's obvious to me that this wasn't just something that you just slapped together. It's just very obvious to me. And I think people have good bullshit meters. And I feel like I have a good bullshit meter. This is obviously something that you really thought through. And it really is obvious. It impacts people, right? I mean, it's not just,
No.
and I love the way that it was structured. It really you could see how it led to the next book or one book led to the next and how you were supposed to use it. And I really tried to
Yeah.
do that. And the one thing I'll say is I wasn't only negative for myself is I wasn't as active in the chats and on the calls and asking things. But I think part of the reason for that is I think it's a lawyer thing in that in law school you kind of have to learn to just teach yourself,
Mm.
right? And I also figured that the more I'm reliant on the group, and I know this is probably wrong, but the more I'm reliant on your feedback or the group's feedback, the more I'm concerned that I'm not looking for my own feedback. You know what I mean? So I tried to really focus on that. I really did. But
And you're nailing it, man. And I can guarantee you that those books, I thought long about how to put them together. And after a period of time, Milad, you come out on the other side and you've been fucking up your life. You say to yourself, I'm not going to mess this up. So those books, actually, I added a new book in it, but
I did.
this
I
one
bought, I
came
bought
out.
that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great
The War of Art. Yeah. It
All
seems good.
right.
Yeah.
So, what did you not expect to get from this that you ended up getting?
I mean, everything. I didn't know. How was I supposed to know that this is what I don't know that I even knew what I was getting in some ways, right? It was kind of just it's a great question. Yeah. I think everything is more than what I expect. I didn't here's one. I didn't expect to get such to go so deep in my fundamental viewpoint on life.
Mm.
Right? I knew that I would get obviously I would generate habits and I would learn how to be healthy and things like that, more basic things. But I didn't know that it would go so deep to the core of how I view happiness and how I view the universe. Like, what the fuck? We're bringing back questions from when I was like, 16 years old and I'm like reading spiritual books and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And it took me all the way back to there. That was really unexpected, I will say.
Ah,
I will say,
cool.
but that's amazing, right? It's like if you can go back to that core way of how you look at life, you need to do that first. You
Yeah.
got to do that first. Otherwise, everything else is just kind of exists on the surface.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm happy to hear that, man. I had this exact same experience when I started. Yeah, that's cool. So what's been the biggest challenge inside the program for you, and what helped you push through?
the first, X number of days was really hard um, just because I was going through the process and I didn't know it was like, I was trying to figure out how to think about it and how to what was really it was a lot of information and it was me having to do the work and try to sit down and figure out how am I going to implement this and am I understanding this? Am I doing enough? And obviously the habit is the habit, right? The morning ritual is amazing. But I really at a certain point I tried to yeah, no, let me go back. That was really hard, right? And doing that is hard for anybody and it's always going to be hard. And getting into the habit of that and not being exhausted and being able to get through the day. And I had this weird thing with it too, right? And just a footnote where I'm not naturally I say this, but now as I'm saying it, I feel like it's fucking bullshit. I've told myself in the past that I'm not a morning person, that I'm a night person. And it's partially culturally. I grew up, we would eat dinner at like 9 and 10 o'clock, and we'd always be up late and whatever. And that's just how I was. But I got to a point where I would tell myself that I can't because I have to perform, right? I often have to go to court and I have to be on and I have to be extremely fucking sharp. And that is, and clients are there and they're looking at you and you want to be your best version of you. And I told myself that if I and you get into like really second guessing your mind state. It's like, so what do I have to do to get that mind state is what I got into doing for many years. And I had this belief that I can't wake up early because when I wake up early, I just am dumber. For some reason I get stupider. But I realized, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it regardless of what it is. Let's just be dumb for a month. Fuck it. I'll be dumb for a month. If that's really true, we're gonna find out. And I found out that it's fucking bullshit. I just had never gotten used to it enough to allow myself to adapt to it. And and now I'm sharper than ever,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Crazy how the brain justifies and scares for don't break this routine, bro. Don't break this routine,
It's
bro.
smart. It's
Yeah.
smart. It's like I have this, let's say I had this big meet. This is a perfect example. I had this big board meeting and I woken up that day and I was like, I'm gonna be exhausted because it was like later in the day too. It wasn't like a morning thing. It was like 5 o'clock. So I was like, I'm gonna be so bad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna start stuttering or something. It's like all this bullshit in your head. And I fucking crushed it. Like crushed it beyond my expectations. That's when I was like, what is going on here? Something is different.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
Oh, that's amazing,
it's
man.
crazy.
That's inner power. And when we start to build self-trust and self-confidence on a deeper level, it just layers upwards. So that's cool. I'm so happy to hear that, man. And
It's like what I needed the most, right? Because I as a, younger, I'm always insecure and I don't even know why I was insecure, but I was insecure and but it would, because of the insecurity, I would doubt that I'm gonna be good. And it was always, but yeah, but this has made that doubt gone. It's just I know I don't even need to I don't need to prepare and I would over prepare, right? You over prepare for a meeting when you're insecure about it and you don't know and you're like I'm gonna read this a million times and it's just not the case anymore. I bet I can be the best version of me with minimal preparation, which is just because I'm comfortable. So anyways, it's
wow.
crazy.
Wow.
I could go on for hours.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing, man. So this is a so how would you if you had to explain the program to a friend, how would you describe it?
Oh, I would describe it as a just complete overhaul of your way of viewing things, right? It's a good like I would need to think about how to say it in a way that's a good elevator pitch and I don't like what I just said. It's not concise
Just
enough.
so imagine
But
now you're with
yeah,
a friend and he's like, "So Milad, what happened, man? What that program you were on? What is about? What is it about?"
it's about everything. It's about everything. But it's about killing the or all the misconceptions that you have, killing the little child in you resetting your viewpoint on what it means to be a man, which by the way, totally didn't expect that. That was a whole fucking thing. And that's I'm on the masculine and relationship right now. And it's just blowing my mind, blowing my mind. But it's in it, you know what? I think in many ways it's like it's like growing up. Your whole program is helping people just fucking grow up. It's almost like parenting in a way. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, and my father was fantastic. I don't have anything negative to say about him, but this is like the detailed parenting that I could have used, or how to be a man exactly, and how to, but like nuts and bolts, not like just doing what he does, but like really how to be a good man, a good person too, but specifically a man.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would describe it. And I think the one thing I have told people is that this has made me, you know, I think to me, the funnest thing in life is being in flow state. That is my favorite place to be when I'm in flow state. Everything is good. I'm happy. Everything is happy. You know what I used to think before that the flow state was just me being manic or something. That's what I thought. I was like, oh shit, I'm being manic now. I need to chill out before I go and like try to do random shit and whatever. But now I just realized that no, it's just this has made me be in flow state consecutive days consistently over and over and over again. And not every day. And some days it's more than others, but that's what I tell people is that if I can just tell you one thing is that this has made me be in flow state constantly. And it is just like it's like magical because you can do anything when you're in
Yeah.
that flow state, right? You feel invincible, you feel powerful,
Fear's gone.
and confident, right?
Yeah. All right, Milad. Thanks, man. And what
How would you
specific?
describe it? It's so hard to describe it in a short way. I mean, it's
Yeah. So I describe it like it's a program that will kill any self-sabotaging behavior.
yeah,
That's because we tend to get in our own way, but how we get in our own way is different from person to person. But this program will definitely, no matter what comes and gets in your way, it will put it on the table and give it the tools to eliminate it.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
so that's what
Much
I
clearer
constructed it
way.
for because
Yeah,
if you could make me, man, then it can make everyone. That's honest because I was far out. But thanks for explaining your version. It's always you are very good at articulating, so it's good. Um, so what specific habits or actions are you doing now that you weren't doing before?
I mean the obvious one, right? I mean, I'll tell you the obvious one. The obvious one is obviously waking up every morning, and I think spending the time, it's not even as much the exercise. Exercise is fantastic and it's so good physically, and I get that. But I think at a certain point, I realized I need to really make sure that I'm not tying everything to this habit of waking up and exercising in the morning because it's not just the habit. That's because then if I don't have the habit, like if I get sick or whatever, what the fuck's gonna happen, right? It's the habit is and I do it and you wrote something about this in the step 4, I think. You touched exactly on this and now I can't remember what you said, but um I do it I enjoy the habit because in that process is when I can, like you say, remember who I am, but also you get to, it's nice to spend time on yourself and on your mind state in the morning. And it's crazy to me how long it takes every morning for me to get back into that. It's not like I pick up the book and I start reading and I start journaling and it's like that. It could be like 20, 30 minutes before I get back into that.
Yeah,
It's like crazy, crazy. But just that, the reflecting and thinking about how you're going to you spend your day and who you are and what you want to be, and going into your day with that is just totally different than just getting up, kids screaming, you jumping right into it and just being reactive all day, right?
yeah,
It's also not fun. You don't see the purpose in everything. You just are just doing whatever is coming at you. I think that is obviously the biggest habit. Of course, physically being stronger and, more just creating. And I remember you said this in a post. I remember like random things that you say, and of course it sticks with me. It was in one of your reels maybe where you say you're not, people say you don't have energy. Well, you're a fucking battery. You make energy,
yeah,
right? It's just like it just hit me. I was like, "You're fucking right. You're absolutely right. I'm not making enough energy. That's why I'm always fucking tired."
That's
So
right.
that has been huge too. And then the only thing I think I need to work on, I'm trying to think about now more is throughout the day, right? Because I do tend to lose steam at like 3, 4. So it's finding, and you say this, you say find 15 minutes multiple times a day to think about it. And I am not as good at picking it back up later in the day. At nighttime I do. At night when I sit down, I put the kids to bed and I'll read as go before I go to sleep a little more. But you
Milad, it
know,
hasn't even been 90 days, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
incredible how far you came in that short period of time.
Well, you said go intense, so I went intense.
And that's and yeah, and that's my point is people forget. So that's why I always say, this 90 days is a long fucking time.
It is.
Because when you go intense into something new, a week feels like 2 3 weeks, and you're forgetting that you're still in the resetting. It's just
Oh, yeah.
you're right where you should be, man. You're getting the awareness. Awareness is everything. All right. And what's the one thing you would improve or add to make the program if you have something even better?
I got nothing for you. What else could you do? What more could you do? I mean, there's nothing more that you could do. Nothing more. That's why I said at the very beginning, the only thing that could make it better is if it was just me and you, and obviously you knew all my bullshit and you could point out, tailor the little things that I'm fucking up on instead of me figuring it out on my own. That's it.
Okay.
That's the only thing. I can't think of anything else. It's far. I didn't even expect the group. The group was huge. I that was, I remember like one of the first calls, I was like, holy shit, this is like a group. And it's not like I'm friends with anybody, right? And we're just feeding energy off each other's energy. But I was like, this is a group of international people who all kind of want the same their thing, right? We're all kind of it like I felt good about I felt really good. It was not expected, but really, really, really awesome. I wouldn't change a fucking thing, honestly. I wouldn't
Well,
change anything.
thank you for that. um, and here's the last question. No, two more questions. What is your favorite part of how I coach you, and what makes it work for you?
I mean, I think that the authenticity is what gets me the most because you can find, your brain will come up of reasons, different reasons why you shouldn't do something. And, even like if I'm watching, it's in a, you have Tony Robbins or like these other people, you find you're like, oh, it's bullshit, or this doesn't apply to me, or you're just getting sold with something, or it's like your brain always goes to those stupid fucking things. I had none of that with you, none of that, and because I felt I really could feel that it was authentic, and I think that's really what I like the most out of anything, and I can see it on every level from the stuff that you write in the program to to your posts, to the curriculum. As I said, if I felt like you had just gone to ChatGPT and put together the curriculum, then I would have noticed that. I don't know. My brain just notices details. I notice fucking details, and I would have seen the inconsistency in things, and I would have been like, but I didn't feel that at all. I think that is really the thing that I like the most. Obviously, your honesty and speaking the things you say, and I think you've said this many times that the reason people gravitate towards your page is because they see themselves in you or what they could be in you, and I think that is like also first of all level of awareness for you that is fucking most people would never even have that awareness. The fact that you figured that out is fucking crazy to me. But it's that I think obviously those would be my like top three things.
All right, right. Appreciate, man. I'm getting all, man. I'm feeling good now. Okay. Last question, Mila. Thanks, man. So, who do you think this program is not for, and who is it perfect for?
It's not for people who just want you to do all the work for them. That's it. And I'm sure you had that. And because I think I could tell that your program is intentionally not up people's ass. And it didn't seem to me like there's a point where people might think, oh, you're not doing it, you're not up people's asses. And maybe someone will see that as a negative. But I don't think that's a negative at all. I could tell it was intentional, an intentional decision not to be up people's asses because that's not going to fucking help. You need to be able to do that shit for yourself. And if you can't do it for yourself, how do you expect to make any real change? So I think for those people who are like, I'll just go buy a package and I'll be better in 90 days. It's those people are not, they're just not serious enough. Um, that is who it's not for.
But
But
who's it perfect for?
I think everybody could benefit from this. I don't think there's anyone who couldn't benefit from what's going on here. I really don't. I don't, and I think this is part of what's smart for what you do. You look for, already high achieving people. And I think what's smart about that is that the people who aren't high achieving, they got so many more problems, and just gonna be spending so much energy to get them to just do what the fuck they're supposed to do. But at least the high achieving people have the ability, obviously, to do something in themselves to create some sort of discipline in themselves. They just haven't done it in everything.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
Right.
So okay. So maybe I'll amend it and say I think exactly the market that you're targeting is exactly who you should be targeting. It just makes the most sense.
Man, I appreciate it, man. That's you know what I thank you so much for all your answers, Milad. It's really it's mind blowing. So you have to understand. So I'm just this guy who just literally solved my own problem, and then I found a way to reverse engineer it to make it a training program. But I designed this for myself. I said if I had to go back and give this poor guy a fucking path because this guy was struggling for so many years, what path would I give him? And you said you nailed it. You agree with me. You nailed it because that's also why the price point has something to say. It scares people off because money shows, if it's not heritage, money shows level of commitment that you've been able to sacrifice in your life. And if you really want to make a change, it's just a commitment. Either it comes from a commitment from pain you want to avoid, or it comes from a commitment you have learned in your career. So you nailed it. Yeah,
And
perfect.
I think a lot of people don't, and I didn't understand that this is something that if you want to be great or be the best version of yourself, I don't think I realized that those people have coaches.
Yeah,
Those people have coaches. They just do. They just do. I don't think that's something I knew.
no,
And so I think you need that before you're like, okay, it makes sense to spend money on this because I'm never gonna be there, or it's really fucking hard. It might take me till I'm 75 to get there without a coach. I think that also made me because I'm sure there are people that are like, I'm not gonna spend money on this. I'll just go read a book or I'll just go do something else. But I think once the value and your understanding of what it's supposed to be changes, you're like, oh no, you need to be spending money on this. And you haven't before, and that's because you're a fucking moron before. But that's now you need to spend money on this because it's important, right? I think that was a click something that clicked for me at one point too.
yeah.
But
Tiger Woods have coaches. Ronaldo have coaches. Everyone has coaches. Even the coaches have coaches. So you're right. It's a new world, and that's where people they go. That's why poor people stay poor and rich people get richer because as soon as an opportunity comes, poor people sees it as a scam.
yep, cool.
Thank you so much, Milad, and hey, God bless
Of
you and your
course. Thank
family,
you.
and Merry Christmas, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is, I get to help people in their with their cases, but this is different. You get to help people make their lives better, like forever. It's awesome. It's
Man, I
awesome.
appreciate
Really,
it,
really
man.
awesome.